everyone. Today we will be discussing about the first chapter of physics in class 10, light and reflection and refraction. So, what is actually light? Light is a form of energy that helps us to see things. It itself is invisible but makes things visible. So, we can see all the things around us only because of light. The speed of light in free space or in vacuum, what we say generally is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. See, whatever things we see is actually due to the interaction of light with matter in our surroundings. So light interacts with matter in many ways depending on the type of the matter. Now, depending on the interaction of light with matter, we can divide the matters into some categories. Like, we can categorize them into one is simply transparent, the other is translucent, and the third one is opaque. So transparent means those things which can allow light to pass through them completely. Translucent are those that allow only a part of the light to pass through it and not completely. Whereas opaque is that particular medium which does not allow light to pass through them. Like transparent, the air is transparent. It's not, and if it's foggy, or we can say that if milky glass, then it's translucent. While this board itself is opaque. Board or wall, these are opaque objects. That means they do not allow light to pass through them. We cannot see what is behind the board. It's only due to its opacity. The opacity is very high. Now, the interaction of light with these objects are also categorized in many ways. Like the phenomena are, the first is reflection, second is refraction, and the other one is TIR, which stands for total internal reflection. Now, reflection is a phenomena that happens with opaque objects, but these they occur for these transparent and translucent objects. Now, what is actually reflection or refraction or TIR? Let us take the example of a stone. If we throw the stone towards a wall or a building, what happens is that the stone just goes, strikes and bounces back. If we take the same stone and just throw it on a pond, then that stone just deeps into the pond, but there are certain changes in it. Like, this is my wall. If I throw the stone, then it will bounce back. If suppose this is some water body, maybe a pond, if we throw the stone like this, then it will deep in, but there will be a change in direction and speed. And the third case, many of us like to do, we take a flat stone, we just throw it almost parallelly to the surface. What happens? It does not deepen, it does not sink. What happens instead? It just strikes back. It goes like this. So it was supposed to sink in, but due to the almost being parallel to the surface of the water, the stone strikes the surface of the water and just bounces back instead of sinking in. So this case where the stone goes, strikes an object and comes back is the same that light does with reflection. This case where the stone from air to water, it just goes from air to water along with a change in velocity and direction. That is called refraction in case of light. And when it was supposed to go from one medium to the other, but instead it just bounces back, it reflects back, we call it total internal reflection. It was supposed to be a refraction, but due to certain criteria that it satisfies, it becomes a reflection, total internal reflection instead of being refraction. So the three phenomena are, out of many, are reflection, refraction and total internal reflection. So now we will talk about reflection. So reflection is basically the bouncing back of light after striking a surface, like you can see the board, because light from the bulb or the tube has come and bounced back from this board to you, towards you. Now what are the things that are actually involved in reflection? Let us see about that. So first of all, we need a reflecting surface, generally an opaque one. First, suppose this is a source, it may be a bulb, anything. A light ray falls on the surface. I am taking only one, there are infinite number of light rays. So we will just give an arrow mark so that we can show the direction through which it is going. Now the point where it strikes, let us draw a perpendicular line. After striking, the light just simply goes away in that direction. Now what happens is that this ray of light which comes from the source towards the surface, it's called incident ray. It's called incident ray, and the one that just bounces back just after reflection, it's called reflected ray. This particular perpendicular line, we call it normal ray. Now what is the importance of this normal ray? Like most of you may have encountered this thing in previous classes, but the normal ray was always neglected, whereas the normal ray, I consider myself as the most important ray, because whatever are the rules or whatever are the calculations that we do, it's always regarding the normal ray. Like if we take, suppose a ball, a cricket ball, and just drop it, it will just fall and then bounce back in the same direction. So the direction in which it goes, it retraces back. But if I throw it just along a slightly curved path, then it goes away like that. Simply like if the red one goes down, the black one comes up this direction. But if I bend the red one, the black one also bends. If I bend it further, this also bends further. So there is a angle that these two maintain with this normal ray. So this angle between the incident and the normal, it's called angle of incidence, and that angle is called angle of reflection, and this is the plane of reflection. Now for reflection to happen, we must go through two rules of reflection. We have to keep in mind the two rules of reflection. What are they? The laws of reflection. The first one is, it states that the incident, the normal and the reflected rays all lie on the same plane at the point of reflection. Most of the students, they just leave this part. We have to keep in mind that we have to state this part at the point of reflection, because if this is incident ray falling on this plane, I can take that as reflected ray, but this doesn't happen generally. It cannot happen actually. So we have to keep in mind this point at the point of reflection. And the second point is the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. So this we have to remember, the laws of reflection. The incident, normal and reflected ray all lie on the same plane, this plane of reflection, and at the same point. And the other one is this angle of incidence, that is between incident and normal, and the angle of reflection, that is a reflected ray and normal ray between. So these are always equal. We have to keep in mind. Speaking of reflection, it has got two types. Reflection is of two types. One is regular, the other is called diffused. So what is the basic difference between regular and diffused reflection? Regular reflection happens when the surface is smooth. When the reflection happens on a smooth surface, then we call it regular reflection, and if that happens on at an irregular surface, then we call it diffuse reflection. So what will be the actual difference that we have to see? Suppose there are parallel rays of light. There are three parallel rays of light. What will happen is that, obeying the laws of reflection, they will just reflect out. The incident rays were parallel, the reflected rays are also parallel. But in the case of diffuse reflection, what we see, we will let some incident rays be parallel to each other. Now, be it diffuse or regular, they have to follow the laws of reflection. So what will happen, this surface, you see the normal is like that, this surface is a normal like that surface is a normal like that. So these three rays will be reflected, obeying the laws of reflection, in three different directions due to the irregularity of the surface. These are microscopic irregularities which we cannot see. It may seem that this board is totally smooth, totally regular. No, it may be irregular, we don't know. So the incident rays were all parallel, but the reflected rays are all in different directions. This is the basic difference between regular and diffuse reflection. Now, to have reflection, we need some surfaces which we call mirrors. Mirrors are of many types. We are concerned about only two types here in this chapter. One is the plane mirror, the other is spherical mirror. So plane mirror, we know, we have that at home. What is spherical mirror? This is plane mirror having a flat surface. Spherical mirrors are further of two types: concave, convex. A concave mirror is that concave spherical mirror which is bent like this. The inner surface, the inner curved surface is reflecting side. For convex, the outer side is reflecting. They have their own uses. These types of mirrors are used in car headlamps, while these type of mirrors are used for rear view mirrors in cars or any other vehicle. Now, why are we calling them spherical? Because we consider them as a part of sphere. They have been cut off from a sphere which was reflecting in nature. Now, since they are of a sphere, so we have certain terms that are related to these surfaces. If this is my sphere of the mirror, then it must have a center. That center, let us denote by C. So this can be considered as a radius. The point where this radius touches the mirror, let us take it as P. We call this point as the pole of the mirror, and this part, the center, we call it center of curvature. The line between these two is called radius of curvature. If we extend the line in both ways, then this line is called principal axis. All the ray diagrams that we will be doing in this type of mirrors or lenses, we will be taking on the basis of principal axis, whatever be the drawings. Now, another important part of this principal axis is called focus. The focus is present exactly at the middle of this radius of curvature. That is, it is at the middle of center of curvature and pole. What is the importance of this focus? The importance is that whenever there is a parallel ray coming towards the reflecting surface, it always after reflection has to pass through this focus. These are the main points that we need for a mirror, be it concave, be it convex. So now we have discussed about mirrors. Why do we use the mirrors? To see our reflection. The reflection that we see, the replica of us or anything that we see in a mirror is called the image of that thing, that object. The image formed is of two types. One is called real, while the other is called virtual. So what is the basic difference between real and virtual images? So real image are those that are formed by actual intersection of rays. Suppose these are two rays which after reflection they intersected at this point. So this point where the rays after reflection originally meet, this represents a real image. Suppose there were two rays after reflection, they were diverging away. So we cannot say that they will meet at some point. Rather, we can extend them backwards so that they meet at a point at the back. These type of images formed are called virtual images. The basic difference between real and virtual images are that the real images we can forecast them, we can just cast them on a screen like projectors. Projectors, they use real images to form on the screen. But virtual images we cannot form them on any screen. These cannot be cast